to be discussed by Engineer Francis D. Ligotong. Second is preliminary examination of bids, to be discussed by Engineer Bernard Z. Duran. Third is detailed evaluation of bids, to be discussed by Ivan Jan Dian. And the fourth is the post-qualification of LCB and award, discussed by Engineer Jeep Ilungsod and Engineer Denise Tumano. For the summary of the second topic is the summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. This will be discussed by Engineer Mara Estrella Gracia M. Remolio. And for the third is the question, comments from the bidders, replies back, and other representative of procuring entity to be hosted by yours truly, as well as the other matters. So let's start with our first topic. Engineer Giancarlo Mahuyo.
Good morning. For contract ID 25RJ004, Capital Outlay Basic Educational Facilities Fund, Batch 1, Repair Rehabilitation of Classrooms, Candaping Elementary School, Maria Siquijor. This rehabilitation project at Candaping Elementary School in Maria Siquijor involves 5 buildings with a total of 14 classrooms. The buildings included in this project are 5 classroom Pagcor building, 4 classroom Gonzales building, and 2 temporary facilities building with 2 each, and 1 temporary facility building with 1 classroom. The Pagcor building For the Pagcor building, the scope of work includes the replacement of the ceiling, LC windows, and doors, and door frames. Additionally, torchlight tiles will be installed, and cement plaster will be applied to the walls. The building will also undergo painting and waterproofing works to ensure long-term durability. For Gonzales building, requires rehabilitation or construction, which involves the conversion from wood framing to concrete framing based on the floor plan of the Gonzales building. This also includes finishing works, electrical works, and plumbing works. For temporary facility buildings, the scope of work is limited to electrical works only. These buildings will be received necessary electrical installation to ensure that they have a functional and safe for use. The approved budget for the contract of this project is 8.45 million with a 120 calendar days. The second project is 25RJ005, Capital Outlay Basic Educational Facilities Fund Batch 1, Repair Rehabilitation of Classrooms in Enrique Villanueva National High School in Villanueva, Siquijor. The repair and rehabilitation works cover several buildings, focusing on structural improvements, replacements, and finishing and enhancements. The Gonzales Building, HE Building, Standard Building 8, Library Building, Makeshift Building will undergo conversion from wood framing to concrete framing to improve structural integrity. The SEDP, 2-story building, HE Building, Science Laboratory Building, and Library Building include the replacement of slab and fill, along with the necessary finishing works. Meanwhile, the DepEd Standard Buildings 8 and 9, also as well as the Alumni Building, will have their finishing works completed. For the Tech Voc Building, parts of the building will undergo roof replacement and ceiling replacement, of which was damaged because of the falling trees. While the 2-story modern buildings will involve the removal and installation of gutters. Overall, the scope of work aims to enhance the durability, safety, and functionality of the existing school facilities. The approved budget of the contract is 22.1 million with 220 contract duration. And the last project is 25RJ00.
Bank Secretariat, please furnish copy for the observers.
Free kuno bang? Free copies. 3 copies. I-flash.
While furnishing the copy, can we continue to, so that anyway, the one who read is will explain the man sa iyang kung sa ibuhaton. Please let us know.
Flash yun sa screen. Kaning plan ako. Plan na lang katong icon sa. Hindi maklaro din ako.
Itong sa amin dito sa sa third na ba?
Asa ka?
Sa third. Sa
6.
6.
Kani?
Second, sana sa Merv kasi sa nasa ako.
Wala tagay.
Wala na natin. My last stage. Balik ako. Bumasa ako.
Sa 4?
Sige, lastly, 25 RJ006, Capital Outlay Basic Education and Facilities Fund, Batch 1, Construction of School Health Facilities, Enrique Villanueva, Central Elementary School, Enrique Villanueva, Siquijor. The scope of work of this project is construction of one-story school clinic with a floor dimension of 9 by 7 meters. The approved budget of the contract is 2.736 million with a contract duration of 75 calendar days. The dropping and opening of bids will be on December 2 at 10 a.m. in the morning. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Requirements of bidding documents. Bidders shall submit their bids through their respective duly authorized representatives using the forms specified in the bidding documents in 2 separate sealed bid envelopes or in appropriate documents and file format for electronic bid submission as per the relevant guidelines, and which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical component of the bid, including the eligibility requirements under Section 52 of this IRR, and the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. The bidder should note that the procuring entity shall only accept bids from the bidders that have purchased the bidding documents from the office indicated in the invitation to bid, or have downloaded the bidding documents from the websites of DPWH and FieldJobs, subject to the payment of the fee for the bidding documents upon submission of their bids. The bidding documents shall be attached in the technical proposal. A bid securing declaration is an undertaking which states, among others, that the bidder shall enter into contract with the procuring entity and furnish the required performance security within 10 calendar days, as indicated in the bidding documents from receipt of the notice of award in prescribed format. The DPWH shall post the complete set of bidding documents at its website www.dpwh.gov.ph and at FieldJobs www.fieldjobs.gov.ph for the general reference of the public for every contract to be procured starting on the first day of advertisement of the invitation to bid. Any prospective bidder or other interested party may thus view or download the bidding documents from the aforementioned websites. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically or online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the bidding documents. The original copy of the bid form shall be typewritten or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representative. Unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes, or in case of electronic bid submission, bidding documents not in compressed archive folders and are not password protected shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed, unmarked, or not properly compressed and password protected as required in the bidding documents shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The box shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid or improperly compressed or password protected folder or for its premature opening.
Documents to be submitted by the bidders. Documents comprising the bid technical and financial components. The first bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. Letter A, Belgian Certificate of Registration, Platinum membership in accordance with Section 20 of the IIR. Letter B, pick-up license and registration in case of joint venture. Letter C, statement of all its ongoing and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Letter D, the statement of the bidder's SLCC in accordance with ITV Clause 5.5. The SLCC shall be supported by an owner certificate or final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractors, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the constructor's performance evaluation system or CPIS, or a similar performance and monitoring system. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. 30. NFCC, computation in accordance with ITB Clause 5.6. Letter F, joint venture agreement if applicable. 3G, bid security in the prescribed form of an amount in accordance with ITB Clause 16 and validity period under ITB Clause 15. Letter H. Project requirements which shall include the following. Number one, organizational chart of the personnel to be deployed for the procurement project to be bid. Number two, list of contractors personnel, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the procurement project to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. This personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the bid documents. Number three, list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, or under purchase agreement, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project, as the case may be, which must meet the minimum requirements for the contract set in the bid documents. And number four, omnibus sworn statement in accordance with section 54.3 of the IIR. Letter I, audited financial statement, AFS stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for manual submission, for online submission, and email confirmation from the BIR in line with of the manual receipt, stamping under Revenue Memorandum Circular Number 49-2020 of subsequent relevant issuance. The second bid envelope shall contain the financial bid form, which include the bid prices, bill of quantities, detailed estimates form, and cash flow by quarter, in accordance with ITB Clause 13.1. The bidder shall submit one original of the Class A and Class B document. Then the bidders that will be declared as the SL or those which shall submit 3 copies each of the technical financial components proposal of each bid before the issuance of notice of award.
Morning, everyone. Next is the criteria and procedure for eligibility check. The bank shall open the first envelope, the technical envelopes, in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for eligibility and for the technical requirements as prescribed in the said IRR. After opening the first envelope, the bank shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility check and preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids. The bank shall first determine the eligibility of the prospective bidders in accordance with Section 52 of this IRR, and the initial technical proposals shall be evaluated using a pass or fail criterion to determine whether the same meet the minimum technical requirements of the procuring entity. For purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 52.4 of this IRR, the bank of the procuring entity shall use the contents of the valid and updated PhilJEP certificate of registration, platinum membership, pursuant to requirements provided in Section 20 of this IRR. The bank shall also require the submission of the following statement of the bidders of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contract awarded but not yet started, SLCC and NFCC, to ensure that the prospective bidder is technically and financially capable to undertake the procurement project. The bidder must have completed an SLCC that is similar to the procurement project to be bid, and whose value adjusted to current price using the PC Consumer Price Indices must be at least 50% of the IBC to be bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirements may be allowed, subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPBB for consideration, provided 105 or further. That the contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience on the procurement projects to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of the of such contract is not more than the allowable range of the contract cost of the registration based on the guidance as prescribed by the PCAP. For infrastructure projects, joint venture bidder shall submit a joint venture agreement in accordance with RA 9, number 4566 of the Contractors License Law and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective field job certificates of registration in accordance with section 20.2.9.1 of this IRR. The submission of the technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all its ongoing contracts. Electronic eligibility check shall be done by using the data and program in the DPWH Civil Works application or CWA. Only the participating contractors who submits the original receipt of payment of the bidding documents for the contract issued by any DPWH field official will be considered by the procuring entity to be undertaken with the electronic eligibility evaluation.
Good morning. For the preliminary examination of bids, Section 59 of the new Government Procurement Act NGPA of RA 12009 and its IRR. Prior to bid evaluation, the BAC shall open the first bid envelopes in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the eligibility and technical requirements as prescribed in this IRR. For this purpose, the BAC shall check the submitted documents of each bidder against a checklist of required documents to ascertain if they are all present using a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion, as stated in the instructions to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required document, it shall be rated pass for that particular requirement. In this regard, bids that fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient shall be considered as failed. Otherwise, the BAC shall rate the first bid envelope as pass. Receipt of the scanned copies of the first bid envelope with the required forms prescribed in this IRR, which are for online or electronic bid submission, shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the seat bid submission, subject to the submission of the original copies of the following: A. Bid securing declaration or other forms of bid security, excluding cash, and B. Omnibus sworn statement. These forms shall be submitted by the bidder during the post-qualification stage. The non-submission of these forms within the prescribed period shall render the bid submission as non-compliant and shall result in the post-disqualification of the bidder. Immediately after determining compliance with the requirements in the first bid envelope, the BAC shall open the second bid envelope of each remaining eligible bidder whose technical proposal contained in the first bid envelope was rated pass. The second bid envelope of each compliant bidder shall be opened within the same day, except as provided under sections 58 and 62 of this IRR. In case any of the requirements in the second bid envelope of a particular bid is missing, incomplete or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds the ABC, the BAC shall rate the bid concerned as failed. Only bids determined to contain all the bid requirements for both components shall be rated pass and immediately considered for evaluation and comparison. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required forms such as the duly signed bid form, price schedules, or other forms prescribed in this IRR for electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission. That's all.
Good morning. For detailed evaluation and comparisons of bids, Section 61 of New Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. Procuring entities shall set a transparent methodology that outlines the data needed and calculation methodology to be used when conducting an LCCA or LCA as may be applicable to ensure comparability and fairness among bidders. With due consideration and significance of the potential environmental impacts, bidders' ability to provide an information requested for bid evaluation and feasibility of verifying compliance during contract implementation. Members of the BAC, its staff and personnel, secretariat and TWG, as well as observers, are prohibited from making or accepting any communications with any bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the BAC, through its secretariat, may ask the bidder in writing for clarification of its bid. All responses to requests for clarification shall be in writing. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the following: a completeness of the bid unless the instructions to bidders specially allow partial bids. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. However, when no price or a zero or a dash is indicated in a required item in the bid form, the same shall be construed that it is being offered for free to the government except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And arithmetical corrections, the box shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modification if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustments shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In case of discrepancies between bid price in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of the item, the latter shall prevail. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. And amount in price schedule and in the bid form, the latter shall prevail. That's all.
Good morning. Post-qualification of lowest calculated bid, Section 63 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12709 and its IR. The bidder with the LCB infrastructure projects or the HRB, in the case of consulting services, shall undergo post-qualification to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with its or is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. During post-qualification, the BAC shall verify and validate the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the eligibility documents supporting the PLGIP certificates of registration, platinum membership, and all the other statement made and documents submitted by the bidder with the LCB, using the non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria are considered but shall not be limited to the following. Letter A, legal requirements to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 54 of this IIR. For this purpose, the GPPB shall maintain a portal which contains the consolidated file of all blacklisted suppliers, contractors, and consultants. Letter B, technical requirements to verify and validate the bidder's stated compliance with the requirements specified in the bidding documents. Letter C, financial requirements to verify and validate the bid price proposal of the bidder and whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount is specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents or the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the bank determines the bidder with LCB passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the LCRB and recommended to the HOP the award of contract to the said bidder and its submitted bid price or its calculated bid price, whichever is lower. If, however, the bank determines that the bidder with the LCB fills the criteria for post-qualification, it shall immediately notify the said bidder in writing of its post-disqualification and the grounds for it. The post-qualification process shall be completed in not more than 12 calendar days from the determination of the LCB.
The criteria and procedure for the award to the bidder with lowest calculated responsive bid. Section 66 of the new Government Procurement Act or NGPA of RA 12009 and its IRR states that the BAC shall recommend to the HOPE the award of contract to the bidder with the LCRB after the post-qualification process has been completed. Within 3 calendar days from the issuance of the resolution recommending award of contract, the BAC shall notify all other bidders in writing of its recommendation. Within a period of not exceeding 10 calendar days from the determination and declaration through a resolution by the BAC of the LCRB, the HOPE or its duly authorized representative shall approve or disapprove the said recommendation. In case of approval, the HOPE or its duly authorized representative shall immediately issue the notice of award to the bidder with the LCRB. Prior to the expiration of the period of bid validity, the procuring entity shall notify the successful bidder in writing that its bid has been accepted through a notice of award duly received by the bidder or its authorized representative personally or by registered mail or electronically, receipt of which must be confirmed in writing within 2 days by the bidder with the HRRB and submitted personally or sent by registered mail or electronically to the procuring entity. Within 10 calendar days from the receipt by the winning bidder of the notice of award, the following conditions should be complied with before the contract may be awarded. A. Submission of the following documents. First is the valid joint venture agreement, if applicable, or certificate or registration of the foreign corporation, or the certificate of registration of foreign consulting firm, and or the authorization or license issued by the appropriate government agencies or professional regulatory body of the foreign professionals engaging in the practice of regulated professions and allied professions where applicable. B. Posting of the performance security in accordance with ITB Clause 33. C. Signing of the contract as provided in ITB Clause 32.
Good morning once again. For the summary of proceedings, including supplemental and bid bulletins to be issued. The clarification or amendment of bidding documents through bid bulletins under Section 51.5 of the new Government Procurement Act of RA 12009 and its IRR. Request for clarifications on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission of receipt of bids. The bank shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin duly signed by the bank chairperson to be made available to all those who have properly secured the bidding documents at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents, bid bulletins may be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the 99 submission and receipt of bids. Any modification to the bidding document shall be identified as an amendment. Any bid bulletin issued by the bank shall also be posted in the field chips in any conspicuous place in the premises of the procuring entity and on the website or social media platforms of the procuring entity if available or such other channels as may be authorized by the GPPB. It shall be the responsibility of all those who have properly secured the bidding documents to inquire and secure bid bulletins that may be issued by the bank. However, bidders who have submitted bids before the issuance of the bid bulletin must be informed and allowed to modify or withdraw their bids in accordance with Section 55 of this IRR.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? So,
Good morning, everyone. I want to clarify. We have already heard all of your explanations and clarifications until the last uh, presenter is finished. So I did not hear any uh, comment or any statement that any contractor have negative slippage cannot be uh, procure any documents, bidding documents. Naba na nalo nila kanang negative slippage na dili na maka-appeal. Kaya as before, kanang contractor can participate unless yung negative slippage less than 10%. 10%. So, namatay anong state diha sa kuhan na kana procure ini bidding documents katong dunay negative slippage even 1%.
itong SLCC daw, mga igaba sa SLCC. CPS. Post qualification. Zari.
Pass-fail maningin. So, any documents na. So, sa pass-fail na kanang sa negative slippage at tuna na siya sa post-evaluation according sa ating. So, you can participate if you wish. Oh,
we will send letters to other in answer to Ma'am Gina, we will send letters to other districts whether those the license or the ongoing project they have the negative slippage to all other districts all over the Philippines. So if you can participate, kasi uli papalito. Papalit. We will evaluate man. Kung unsay inyong kuan dito sa evaluation based on the RA 12009, dili sa mingon nga di disqualified mo na mo hing appeal disqualified ayon. Evaluate pa na siya.
Kanatong nasa instruction to leaders, if wala to dito, even single na wala dito ka na, yung papilis. Okay, kung nata, ma-disqualify mo. Basta sa tulong sa atong evaluation, if naamoy kulang, masing ko sa among a checklist sa instruction to leaders, disqualified, considered as failed to siya. Sa negative slippage, sa post-qualification, yes, if kana. Oo, dili ra kay it's not only here in the office, it's also in the other district. O, makapil mo if you wish. O, sa inyong huna-huna na wala mo'y negative slippage. Oh, you can. Why not? If you want to participate, we are willing. You are all invited. O, sure yun mo, even to this district, you have no negative slippage of not less than negative 10%. So, kamo mismo, sa inyong kaugalingon, you know na negative mo or not. Because this office will evaluate all the projects undertaken by your company. So you can participate. You can. Oo. We will evaluate it. Even here in our district, if you have no negative slippage, ang inyong company has no negative slippage of not less than, of more than 10%, negative or 10%. Yes, for the new contractors, we will also evaluate them sa, every contractors can participate. Oo. We will just evaluate sa post-qualification. So, dili ra kay dinhira sa office, sa laing district kay pagpadala man ta.
Ang catch-up program ako dato is applicable siya if ongoing ang project. So, kung maka-submit siguro ang form of catch-up program kung di pa expired. So, regarding sa imong question nga, maka-participate ba? Maka-participate, wala tayong problema na. Ang question is, pag-evaluate kung mupasar ba? Kay govern man gud ta sa
RA 12009. So klaro mo gud kay dito naka-stipulate dito nga unsay mga requirements para mo pasar sa pagkuan. So kung ma-violate na to, so nakita chance nga ma-disqualify. Sa di man ko ni kuan nga based sa nakabase man gud sa balaod gud. So kung kuan regardless kung sa imong ikuan sa imong giikuan nga catch up program siguro na ay maapas pero amo nang mapadala mi sa mga kuan sa mga districts kung magkano may kumusta sa estado aning nga firm okay by lang performance wala sila daghang negative. So kung mutubag ang kuan usually na ay mutubag dito nga kani nga contractor na siya negative pero dili nila sala tungod sa circumstances nga so madawat na to na kung natay certification from other districts nga under contract sila. So kung certify sila nga dili sa contractor ang negatives kana pwede na nato siyang i-consider. Pero kung wala na siya, baring wala na siya, then subay kita sa balaod niya. Kung di siya kapasa, di siya kapasa.
Pero ang primero yun natong i-consider is din sa atong opisina. Itong mga project na naadin sa atong opisina. Yun na siya atong unahon o consider. Katong mga projects undertaken by company na naay negative slippage within nato din sa office.
Engineer concern can be answer your question. The explanation of the back answers your questions. The same evaluation sa una. Wala problema. Pass-fail raman na mo. So, kung sa'y hitabo pagka kuhan, napamag-post qualification na nagod. So, panitan, positive mo tanan dire, positive ang kuhan dire, wala problema ang license dire sa office. Mutana ko sa ubang district, padala raman. Sulat. Consider kasi basta not full of the contractor, less than 10%. Namaguna sa among kuhan board, sa guidelines, 12009, wala may problema na basta okay na naman less than 10%. Yan, naman po more than 10%, not fault of the contractor. Certification. So, doon na may mukuan dito nga, mupadala na dito ng district nga na fault of the contractor. So, okay na po, yan po. Okay.
Ngayon si PA certification. Certification niya, dahil lang sa last contractor ay dili ni mo sala nga mo lang nag-appoint delays. So kana siya nga kanang nga certification mo rin ma-support na mo para mawala tong mga negative mark. Asa ikaw na siya, dili siya na siya cover dili sa procurement sa paano na siya. Ang imong concern dili na siya sa procurement sa di lang sa kamo gawas sa procurement. Di lang sa kamo gawas sa di lang sa kamo gawas sa ang pag-discuss the Prebid Conference discuss nato ni kanang imong concern sa project implementation after sa Prebid Conference. Kasabot kami. Kasabot kami. Kasabot kami, pero dili ni mga kabindi sa transfer.
Kung na mo, so tagaan mo consideration. Pero kung dili fault na mo, kung fault sa office, nakamantaan na ikuan, nakamantaan na sulat. Pero na ako na certain pero ito na nasa. Kung fault jud na mo, sa fault sa mga PE, or fault sa office na nung hindi mo makaagi, nakakaanay kung ano niya, nakakay suspension sa project implementation of the reputation.
Any other questions related to our Prebid Conference?
Kaning among atong ibiling ron, is it purely construction or repair or renovation?
I will give it to the programmer.
Good morning. The project for bidding, sir, is repair rehabilitation, but not limited to construction, sir. Natay kuha dito, sir, nga isulti dito nga from wood frame, i-convert na to into concrete framing. So meaning natay geothermal framing ng mga buildings. Yes, sir. Pero ang kuha na Gonzales Building Design, ragabon siya. Pero ang iyahang framing works, utro na siya. Mag-upgrade lang na to. Yes, sir. Nabot sa plano.
Kay diferensya ko yun ang construction o ang renovation or repair. Kay ang duration sa imong sa repair, ubot unang naon, taas yun ang duration sa repair kaysa construction. Kaya construction installation naman kanunay na. While sa repair o sa renovation, remove and replace man mo na. Remove and install. So, ang duration ta na sa project ba, kaya may time na mag-remove pa ka, yung usa na po ilisan mo, installation na po. So, mo niya kung paano na, kasana ako, kung paano rin sa bed facilities na 75 days na.
Yes, sir. Galing sa mga health facilities construction na siya, sir. Sa one classroom clinic. Wala. Dayon, kaning sa remaining to, nga repair rehabilitation mo na tong na ay rehab, repair na project. Itong na ay transformation sa wood to concrete framing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pero ang kanang sa repair rehabilitation ng project kay mga minimal raman po na siya nga mga repairs excluding atong transformation sa wood to concrete framing. Dili, sir. Existing siya nga building na ato rang gi-rehab. Rehabilitate pa na. Na-incorporate na po na siya sa project duration, sir. Ang kanang scope ng council, sir. Yes, sir. Oo.
Di ba naman ay PDM na to?
Yes, sir.
Nasa makita na sa PDM na mo, sir. Naay dito sa PDM. Supposedly, part si PDM na siya o PDM naman na siya. Makita niyo mo dito kung yung pinaka-adlaw na removal, mobilization until the project is finished. So, kung sumay ito sa atong PDM, lagi, pero kung sumay ito sa PDM na to, kaya mamaya mong i-program, more or less, yan, mupasa ko within this calendar days kung kung yung ibutan doon. So,
And secondly, sir, ang mga buildings sa sir kay dili siya kuan ba kaning prerequisite sa usa ka building. So pwede nimo siya masay mo lang mga 8 buildings. So kuan depende na siya sa imong manpower nga i-declare.
Regarding sa regarding sa kaning plan gani sa specific plan for that particular, like for example, particular trabahoon for this building. Asa ta magapangayo ana? Pwede na ta kapangayo ana? Detail plan? Ha? Like detail ano niya ba sa muna siya sa mag-ilis o muna trabaho like this building. Yaarang one is remove ato trusses, old trusses, then sa bago. Then another question, like for example, sa ibabaw ra, what if we cannot implement because like for example this column ay dipicto siya and then kay repair mo god, then dili siya pwede trabahoon pa before may mong trabaho but outside the scope of work. So how are we going to deal that kind of
muna yung gawas na ang operation order or extra work order. Magawas na siya. Ano na magawas? Because we cannot, lagi, bisag, even the planning, evaluating that, dili man nato magkuha na repair na siya. So,
Yes, sir.
any changes or any one of the scope of work, doon ang operation order. Ibalito na natin. Wala mo ba'y perfecto, bitaw-itawag ng estimate, may kaduha po labi ng repair and maintenance. Doon na mo ginay mga operation order na.
Medyo unforeseen what ba damages nga wala na-include sa program o sa plan as per original contract. Munang nila masulod ang operation order. Hello sir. Kuan sir, sa imong first question regarding atong sa plan, if na sa posted nga plan sa bidding documents na kay queries, pwede ma-approach na po ang planning if ever na kulang nito sir, para ma-klaro po ang mga queries after sa implementation sir.
Step of 3, ito ba? Ito problema niya. On na ubos na tayo ang diba? So, para kung to, nagkani kayo na-adjust pa ang baliba na lang yung ito ng kumutrabaho kay ubos na kayo ang price. Gani, ang sa munisipyo sa Marina, nila ang 4 kilometer piping ng blue is 4 million, nanas 4 million. Kaya dito, nasa 2 million, 2.2, 2.2 niya at the same one.
Pwede mo lang ito i-discuss ng project awarded na ito na i-discuss ito sa pre-construction nita. Dahil yung discuss mo na naman sa plano, makita mo na tanan sa plano. Kung di makita tanan sa plano, mas actual labi ng sample kanabitaw para ito na itabok sa unang unforeseen, unforeseen. So, wala tayong mag-iwan na tag-change order. Hindi na mahimo muna po na yung change order kung ang buhato na ito yung mahimo na ito para
example sa ako ang case. Maybe we can learn from this one. Na-implement na dito tong 10 na wire dito sa ako ang dito for half kilometer. Isusot ako nga review for that matter kay gamay ra gyud according sa engineer
Sige pa dahil lang. Dili pa gud kasi di ba you are given plans. So sa plano dili sa inyo sa among sa inyong plano is nagsabit ba sila di ba magsabit ang plano ilan naman ang kami na sa'yo.
Okay, ma'am. So our Prebid conference this morning is adjourned. Thank you.